From the News Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. I'm Nick Beres. This is The Plus. And on this Tuesday, we're going to be taking your phone calls on what usually is a busy show, and I hope you join in the conversation this morning. We're going to be talking about Social Security Administration, SSI, benefits, the application process. Many of you always want to bring up the question of whether or not there'll be a cost of living increase this year, and I think likely there will be, but that won't be formally announced probably till November or so. But we'll get into all of that, and take your phone calls. You see the number on the screen. You know it gets busy later in the show, but you're welcome to jump in. 737-7587 is the number, and we've got our regular guest from Social Security, Josh Horn. He's brought with him this morning James Shanks. Good morning, James.
Morning, sir.
Is he actually going to be your replacement down the road here?
Well, right now he's the replacement for Daryl Payne. A lot of you remember him from several years ago as a couple years ago as the public affairs specialist. So James, I'm happy to announce, is the new public affairs specialist for the Nashville area. And so,
well, what have you been doing all this time? You've been coming on this show. He's going to start coming on for you. You're kind of a public relations specialist, are you not?
Well, I'm the assistant manager at the Nashville
so you're
office.
Doing
so I got to do both hats and very much enjoyed it. But I'm also happy to pass it on and let somebody focus a little bit more on the public outreach, and we're looking really forward to that.
Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, part of the public outreach is obviously you guys come on MorningLine, on a regular basis, but getting out in the community, answering questions for folks. The whole process, and we see it with these phone calls, is complicated to get it out. And, so that's, you okay with this?
Complicated and ever-changing.
Yeah.
I'll apologize now. I know I've got a face for radio.
Stop it.
And I've got to follow Josh, and it's going to be hard to do.
I can already tell he's going to do just fine. We're going to have a good time. I mean, that's part of it. You got to, come with a sense of humor. And the fact is that we get some real serious calls and such like that. So anyway, the number 737-7587. So Josh will be along with James to help answer some of your questions today. Just wanted to get from you if there's anything that you want to throw out there as we start things off this morning.
Yeah, there is one thing that I definitely want to mention. We've been talking a little bit about some of the change in the services in the field offices, and one thing that we had talked about that was coming in October was that field offices would no longer be providing benefit verification. So if you're receiving benefits and you need proof of those benefits to take to your lender or to prove to whomever you need to prove that you do receive that money, we had mentioned we had been looking at reducing that service in the field office. You could still get it online or still get it from the teleservice center. Well, after much discussion, they decided to go ahead and continue that service in the field office. So that's good news for the public, that you can still come into the field office in addition to the internet and the teleservice center, the national 1-800 number, to get those benefit verifications. Now, on the other hand, we had also talked about the Social Security number verifications. So a lot of times if you come into the field office and you need to get a replacement Social Security card and you need something that day, well, the Social Security card is centrally mailed, printed and mailed, so it may take about a week to get to you, but you could get a verification printout that day. Unfortunately, that verification printout is just a piece of paper, and there's no security features on there like there is with the Social Security card.
There is? What security features are on the Social Security card?
I know.
I could forge one of those in my basement.
I know that it doesn't really appear that way, but there is a special kind of paper.
I get it on a nice copy machine, go both sides, cut it. I mean, first of all, is that a federal offense?
Yes, Nick.
Thank you. That would be a federal offense doing it, but if I have a nice color copier, okay, the paper.
Yeah, well, again, there's special paper. I mean, there's different things. Well, and of course, you don't want to laminate it, but a lot of folks wanted to come in to get that verification printout, but we, effective August 1st, we no longer give those verification printouts that same day for Social Security numbers, and that is because there is fraud and easy duplication, and some issues like that with those verification printout. So if you come down to the Social Security office to get a replacement card or to update your name or something like that, do not expect to get something printed out that day. And a lot of folks need it or say that they need it for a job interview, to
the number of the card,
the verification, something that they have to show that day to their employer. And the fact of the matter is, we have the E-Verify system that employers can use to verify your Social Security number and status, and also also for things like housing, they have over the internet, they have verification procedures that they can use, and that's why the impact on this really should be minimal, because those other parties should be using the online systems that Social Security has in their business services online
I'm
package.
guessing not many people come in and having to ask for that letter, or are there a lot that
Well,
have?
unfortunately, everybody.
Really, I guess you're mentioning it because there are a lot.
I am mentioning it because almost everybody who comes in does say, well, I need something today. I need something today.
But I mean, the whole point is if you need it for your employer, it's just what you said. As long as you know your number, you give it to them, they punch it into the database you're talking about, and they can confirm whether it's legit or not, right?
Yeah.
Now, you may have to have some proof of who you are, like your driver's license, to ID yourself that you're not using someone else's number, right? But
Right,
I mean,
but for whatever reason,
I have never. Heck, I don't even know where my number is.
Yeah, for whatever reason, a lot of the employers though are saying, I want to see something, and they don't want to use those databases for whatever. And I'm not sure what their reasoning is, but that is something that and everybody out there needs to be aware of. That if you don't have a Social Security card, if you've lost it, don't wait till you need it. Go ahead and get it, and then put it in a safe place. Don't carry your Social Security card in your wallet. Don't carry it in put it in somewhere very safe, because when you need it, you don't want to have to wait that week in order to get it.
I wanted to ask you, have there been any more streamlining done? Has there been done to the application process? Yeah, you were saying, we get callers that say they've been applying for SSI, they were denied, they're appealing, they're going through the process. And you keep trying to streamline it, and some of them are waiting not just months, but sometimes years. Has there been any more done to try to streamline that?
Well, we actually have several hybrid states, we call them, where in our state, you file at an initial level, then you file at a reconsideration level, and then you go before a judge at a hearing level. The reconsideration level has been piloted as being removed in several states. Will it expand out?
That means you would go straight to the judge faster?
You'll have an initial level, and then if you are not approved, you'll go before a judge.
Oh,
Cut out the reconsideration level altogether. There's a lot of logistics behind that. It's not easy to do.
How much time can that save in the application process, would you think, for someone?
I would say on average, somewhere around 90 days. The reconsideration level, we typically expect claims to come back in about 3 months.
Interesting.
So.
All right, well, that makes it faster, I suppose. You get to does that mean you have to bring more judges on board? I mean, I'm just wondering how many.
Now, who could say? But I would assume so. The caseload right now is still very overwhelming. I think we're at maybe 500 days or so on hearings. So the agency's goal is to get that as low as possible, obviously. But if you threw more at them, you could expect it to go up. And, I want to mention something real quick that Josh just mentioned. Yes, we can now come into the office and get these benefit verification letters that people always really wanted to get. However, it is still much, much, much quicker to go online to do this. We will encourage you to go online to do it. You might wait in our office for hours for that letter, and it's just a printout. If you can get online access, we encourage you to sign up for My Social Security. It's just going to be easier on you in the long, and because those benefit verification letters, you end up needing them over and over and over again.
So if you're online, you can print it up at home, or by going through the process. You were saying, he said all along, Daryl before you, is get online. It saves so much all the cross. Now I know, again, not everyone has a computer at home or is computer savvy, so there are other options, though, friend's house, the library, places like that, where they will walk you through the process to get on there. And that website is great. You can check all kinds of stuff, how much, even if you're in our shoes right now, to see how much you're going to be getting, and if you take early retirement and how all of that works. So, all right, and real quick, before we get to the phone lines, and they're open 737-7587. It's true, Josh, again, we don't find out till November on cost of living increase again. It's every November.
Right, it's always a hot topic. Everybody's always curious as to how much, their check will go up, but typically in November is when Congress determines what the cost of living will increase. And I'll also mention that particularly we saw during the period of time where there was no cost of living, but even if there's a very small cost of living, your benefits are not going to go down due to your Medicare premiums go up, because no matter what the cost of living increase is or is not, Medicare still will independently determine if the premiums are going to go up. And so if they go up by $10 and your check only goes up by $5, then maybe you would think that, well, my check's actually going to go down, but you are protected on that. It's called an adjustable or variable Medicare rate, and we saw that during the period.
I remember that. And that was one of the good things, at least. There was not an increase, but at the same time, those benefits benefits did not get more expensive.
Yeah,
they held steady.
I always like to let people know that no matter what the cost of living is going to be, your benefit's not going to go down because of the Medicare increase.
Yeah, from that. But you're still paying more for a loaf of bread, and that's where. But I'm telling you, there's going to be a cost of living increase. I don't know how big it's going to be, but there will be this year. I'm just going to gamble on that and say probably. There has been the last 2-3 years, right?
A couple years at least.
Yeah, and then there were 2 or 3 years there where there wasn't one. It was frozen. So, well, listen, we have to take a break. When we come back, the lines are open. We've got some folks on hold. Donnie, Casey, stay where you are. Carrie, stay where you are. The number, 737-7587. Questions about anything that we've discussed here, the process you're in right now, as maybe you're applying for benefits. We can try to help you. We'll be back right after this.